Today we're going to be looking at a guitar riff that I'm calling the indie handbreaker. It's actually two riffs. The second one is the part that breaks the hand. Now, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You might be thinking, I've already figured out what this riff is and it's overplayed, I don't want to learn it. But we're going to do it right, and then we're going to sort of speculate how you could possibly enjoy playing this live time and time and time again. You've either got massive hands or bionic hands. Now you can probably see from my hand shape there that that's a pretty tricky riff to play. And to do it right, there are a couple of little hidden notes that we'll talk about in a minute, but that's not the handbreaker part. Oh no, it's when it comes down to the lower octave and goes to the pre-chorus. So let's take a look at what's going on there. That stretch is gargantuan and it's ridiculous, and you can actually hear that I'm kind of pulling some of the higher strings sharp just because I'm trying my best to stretch, arch over at the same time for the open strings. And yeah, I'm sat down playing like I'm on the front cover of Classical Guitar magazine here, like live. I'd have to have my guitar around my neck, I think, in order to reach that. Couldn't be stood like Slash. But yeah, it's really difficult to play, and there's no real kind of alternate way around it. And yeah, props to them for writing that and then being committed to play it live, because it's literally an indie handbreaker. Let's come back up to the first riff though, in the second octave, and I kind of want to talk about maybe a couple of notes that you could be missing from it if you want to play it excruciatingly accurate. Now the original is in E flat tuning. We're going to learn it in standard tuning just to make this lesson simpler for you. And obviously that means we're learning it in the same fretted position. It's just that if you want to play it to the track without changing the pitch, you've got to tune yourself down to E flat. Let's just talk about the different root notes that we're going to be picking, because the majority of the shape stays the same. So your first shape is like this. Your second shape is going to be a flat index bar, so you've just dropped the root by one. And then you're going to take that index finger to the note G and replace this 16th fret with the middle finger. So you've got 1, 2, 3. And that last chord is doubled. Now the picking pattern goes back and forth like this. So A, D, G, D, and then you're going to come down from the high E string in order. However, because we're moving to that next shape, what you can hear on the record is the hand move early, and you actually get the last D string as an open when we move. Next shape, same thing again. And then we put our third shape on. This time the middle one, because it stays the same, it's actually the higher fretted note on the D string. But your last one is back to the open D because you're going to the start again. So, like I said, it's a forensic study on Mr. Brightside main riff, but when you hear it in context, it sounds way better, right? you can hear there, that open D helps us get from one chord shape to the other, and it makes for a nice musical part of the chord anyway. Time for the indie handbreaker part. The three shapes that we're going to be doing are based around B minor, A major, G major, 6, 5, 4. But we've got some open strings again. You'd think it would make it easier, but like I said, this is an indie handbreaker, so the last shape is ridiculous. If you put your third finger on that B, on the 7th fret of the low E string, I then want your pinky on the 7 on the G, and index finger on the 5 on the B. You're now going to string skip from E to D, back and forth like you did before. It follows the exact same picking pattern as the main riff. High E string down. And you can do that twice in a row. Now we've got the exact same riff, the same top note, but we need to change the bass note to an A. Two options here. You could play the open A and have the middle finger ready for the stretch. But this is the indie handbreaker, so let's try it with the index finger fretting the A on the low E string, same picking pattern. And that gives you a consistency in tone as the bass note descends. Now, you've got to keep these two in position as you stretch down to that G and arch over. And then you have to get this golf swing lean on because there's no other way to play it. And then you're going to play this chord twice as long, so 4 repeats. Now, when I play it slow and I give myself that time to adjust into it, I'm not pulling the notes as sharp at the top, but it's the fact you've got to get into it on the fly, it's fast, and then you've also got to get out of it back into that first shape. It's not easy as well. I want to play it and mess it up to show you how hard it is. Let's have a go. See what I've done there? I've over arched this finger in the stretch and I'm kind of on the nail on the fretboard and it's lifted my middle finger off the B string. The first time round I was okay. And then I could feel myself slipping and like holding on. I guess if I practiced that a lot and I was a member of the band, I'd be better at it, but that is very difficult and I wouldn't want to be playing that live night after night. I'd be thinking, oh shit, here we go, duff. But yeah, both of those riffs are iconic, and we've not even touched on the clever stuff that's going on in the chorus. That was a little bit of the famous guitar solo. But yeah, I thought it would give you a little bit of insight into the complexities of the main riff, maybe a few little ghost open notes that might be missing, and also just how difficult the stretch is, that pre-chorus section, and give you something to kind of open up your hand. It's an indie stretch or a handbreaker, depending on whether you're Steve Vai or someone with small hands. I was going to say someone, but who's got small hands?
If you mean musicians, Prince had famously small hands, but could still shred a guitar like no one else.
Whether you're Steve Vai or Prince, it should give you something to work on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want the tabs for this, whole song actually, maybe a backing track, grab that on my Patreon, help support the channel. Like, subscribe, drop me a comment below. You know the drill. have fun, and I will see you very soon.